Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our microlearning sprint. So in the last two videos, we covered the two remaining methods of problem solving, and those were design thinking and systems thinking. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the compulsory skills that kids from prep all the way up to year 10 need to know according to the digital technologies curriculum. So I have this wonderful print. Now, programming for prep to year two students are physical programming, following algorithms, and sequencing. Now, physical programming, those could be things like unplugged games that illustrate computational concepts without the need for an actual computer. Following algorithms, well, an algorithm, as we discussed in our previous microlearning series, refers to a set of instructions that a computer needs to complete. So students need to be able to understand and follow along with instructions. Then sequencing refers to the order of steps that we are required to follow in order to complete a task. Students need to be able to order steps in a logical manner, resulting in a fully functional and followable set of instructions. For years 3 to 6 students, in addition to the previously covered concepts, they also need to understand visual programming. They need to define, design, and implement ideas, and then also branching user input and iteration is also very important. So visual programming refers to something like Scratch, a sort of programming language that enables students to manipulate visual elements, so for example, drag and drop blocks to make a program. Students in this age range should be able to create digital solutions using Scratch. Then with defining, designing, implementing ideas, students should be able to plan out a digital solution and then create it using Scratch. Finally, with branching, user input, and iteration, these three concepts were covered in our previous microlearning series, but to quickly refresh, branching is also known as decision making, and it provides us with options in an otherwise linear set of instructions. Input from a user can be anything from a user clicking on a button to a user typing in an answer to a quiz question. So students need to be able to understand and handle some amount of user input in their digital solutions. Then finally, iteration effectively refers to repetition. For years 7 to 8 students, in addition to the previously covered concepts, we have general purpose programming and also validating ideas. So first of all, students should be able to write a program for any basic need that needs to be fulfilled. So students at this age range are generally expected to program using a text-based programming language such as Python. Then with validating ideas, well, as well as being able to define, design, and implement ideas, students also need to be able to validate them. So validating means that students should know how to make realistic solutions. So for example, they should be able to justify why their solutions might work and evaluate them. So examples of validating, well, if a student is designing the user interface of a game, part of validating could be referencing interfaces design principles. So the solution works and or is realistic because there is a valid reference point. It can also be research-based, so it can be gathered using user feedback during the designing and prototyping phase and those sorts of things. Finally, for years 9 to 10 students, again, in addition to the previously covered concepts, we need to look at object-oriented programming as well as testing ideas. So as well as being able to define, design, implement, and validate ideas, students also need to be able to test themselves against self-induced criteria. So what this means is that students will have their own expectations for their digital solutions, things that they wish to see or create, and they're expected to test their solutions to see if they meet the aforementioned self-induced expectations. So, over the course of our next few videos, we'll be showing you some projects that would be great to teach in classrooms for the aforementioned year levels, so make sure to stay tuned. And that's actually all we have time for today. So if you haven't already, don't forget to sign up for our Teacher PD certificate. Again, if you complete 10 mini quizzes, one quiz for each video, you'll get a certificate for completing an hour of PD. The link to sign up for that is in the description just down below. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. This is Eloise, signing off.